Hello, everyone. We're back in the studio today after the election, and we got some great news. Ann Parker's in with me this morning. She won the election for the Timberlake District School Board. So she's in with us this morning, and I want to thank everybody. It's been a long ride. This election was a little tough. I, on the other hand, did not win. Tried my best. I knew it was a long shot running as an independent, but I did get a lot of, not a lot of votes, but a lot of great voters, I should say, because I can assure you that the voters that voted for me and not for a particular party. So I want to thank everybody for everyone's support, and it was a tough election. So what do you think, Ann?
Yeah, wow. Of course, everyone who's followed anything that I've been doing, I hit the gas pedal and never let up from the moment that I announced, and that was so much fun. I met the most incredible people. Some things that we didn't get a chance to talk about was last week I got to meet Senator Ted Cruz at a Bob Good event.
Yeah, that was cool.
He was so cool. I mean, there was no airs about him at all. I mean, I felt like you had walked in the room. It was like, somebody that I've known for months or years just walked in, and what a great guy. And his speech was hilarious. He said some great things like, they can't wait to send Nancy Pelosi on her broom. I mean, on her plane back to California. I mean, it was funny. But what was really interesting, as everyone who's watching these podcasts already knows, the school board issues are so polarizing, and they really are, honestly, above everyone's, on the top of everyone's list. If you're a family, if you have any family at all, if you're a concerned citizen, it's above the border patrol issues, the immigration issues, the budget issues, inflation. It's above all of those things, because we're learning that there are nefarious things going on in our schools, and that our children are being told things that are inaccurate, to use a kind word.
Yeah.
But with regard to the election, thank you to all of my supporters. I can't tell you how awesome it felt when I had people all day sending me messages or coming out of their polling locations or out of the registrar's office during early voting, upset that I was not on their ballot. A lot of folks, I'm learning too how this worked out. For the school board, we're divided into 7 districts. So even though your children go to Brookville High School, that does not mean that I am your specific representative. I represent the Timberlake District, which I learned all of this myself. So please don't anyone feel ashamed. It's very difficult to find this information, and I do plan on posting that information on my personal. I'm going to keep my campaign page open for some transparency and to keep people posted on what's going on the school board and on my Campbell County Army of Parents pages, because I want other people to be inspired and get involved like we did. Mm-hmm. Please step up, step out, show up. Even if that's all you do, show up.
Yes.
Or offer to help your elected officials, or recruit someone that you feel would do a better job than me next time if you don't agree with me. I was very excited to say that I earned almost, rounded up by, a couple fractions, 67%.
That's
of
really
the votes.
good.
And that just, was extremely heartwarming. And that is an extrapolation of what Campbell County wants, what type of help they want at the school board level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely.
It wasn't 50-50.
I had some funny emails too that people said, well, I went to vote for you, but you weren't on the ballot.
Yes.
And they said, well, I wrote your name in.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, I don't know if that really counted or not, but I really appreciate everyone
Absolutely.
that did vote for me, because, I didn't have a whole lot of votes. I had 1,100 votes, I think it was, for the whole thing. And again, I really, really appreciate everyone that voted for me, because I know you voted for me, at that point, not for a party. And it is what it is, but I want to thank everybody again. Sorry, and I didn't mean to cut in on you, but I definitely want everyone to know.
Well, that's something that I learned by working the registrar's office for early voting. 45 days of early voting. Way too many days, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But also an awesome opportunity for folks who, when my mother was aging, I noticed things like that was when there weren't chairs at DMV. Thank goodness there's chairs there now. But there's no chairs at the post office.
That's right.
There's no chairs at the registrar's office, at the polling locations. Occasionally they will offer one, but there should be it should be already lined up. Now of course they have curbside. There's some other things that a lot of folks, and even I didn't know, but a lot of accommodations to help everyone get out and vote. You can drive there, they'll come to the curbside. You can ask for the mail-in ballot, the absentee ballot. I didn't learn until the McCain election that didn't mean you had to be absent. It just meant that you could not show up at the poll. So you could still be in your home, not able to travel out and use the absentee. It all falls under the absentee ballot. So please share that with everyone for the next election. What I was extremely encouraged about, and thanks to everyone, I know I mentioned it a billion times on this podcast, and to everyone that I ever met, especially the folks who weren't considering not voting, that rural Virginians only show up at a rate of 32% of all of the registered voters. And that's unacceptable. So I kept pushing and pushing, and a lot of other folks did too, and people heard us. 46% of my precinct voted, registered voters voted. Awesome. From 32% to 46%. So if we can get to 50%, we would outvote any cheat that they could possibly throw at us in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Of course, Glenn Youngkin's so excited. Oh my gosh, I've met the whole ticket quite a few times. Glenn, Winsome, and Jason are going to do an amazing job. We are going to hold them accountable. I actually have already reached out to someone to find out who's going to be point guard for the Department of Education, and I plan on meeting with them at the earliest opportunity so that I'm right on top of what's coming, because I don't want to waste my time fighting something that he's going to take care of. So I definitely am going to get plugged in. I think I have a thanks to say to Superintendent Bobby Johnson. He did reach out to me and congratulated me on my win, as did Scott Miller from the Brookneal District. And I appreciate both of them reaching out and telling me, what comes next. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I appreciate everybody that came out. I did learn also that a lot of folks just walk in looking for an R or a D.
Most definitely.
So, and on the local,
I got to say something real quick. Amy.
Yeah, please.
So I was out there a couple of times at the registrar's office during voting,
yes,
and passing out information and talking to people.
And bringing us lunch, we appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
So another thing is, I would say to the people there, I'd say, "Are you here to vote?" Oh, yeah, they're there to vote. Okay, and I started talking to them about me running for the delegate position for the 59th district. And a lot of them said, well, I already know who I'm voting for. I'm voting Republican. And that's all I ever do is vote Republican. I said, well, okay, well, consider me. I'm an independent on the ticket. And, oh, no, I got to vote Republican. And again, that's their beliefs. And, and I got to tell you, a lot of people, I asked if they knew who the sitting delegate was now.
They don't know.
A lot of people didn't even know his name. He's been there a long time. They didn't know who he was. Mm-hmm. And I said, you don't know who he is? And they said, well, I may have heard his name, but he's a Republican, right? And I'd say, yeah. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, I'm voting Republican. Mm-hmm. So I'll can't take away.
No one who was voting for the Democrat knew anybody other than Terry.
Yeah.
And they didn't know the lieutenant governor. They didn't even know Mark Herring, who's the current attorney general. And again, I was an uneducated voter before too.
But what I was trying to get at,
never be again.
Yeah, oh yeah. What I was getting at is he got a lot of votes. I was going to say crap load.
Yeah. He
got a lot of votes, okay?
And it's because of the R.
It's the R. He's been riding that R, which is fine. I don't downplay him because he spanked me like a newborn baby with these votes. Matter of fact, I wasn't even mentioned half the time because it was back him and the Democrat going back and forth. My votes were so low that they were like, well, he's not even got a chance, which is fine. I get that. He beat me.
First shot, too.
First shot. He beat me bad, really bad. And I wasn't even a competitor at that point. But the point is, he's been riding that R for a long time. And I can assure you, I could put a turtle in there with an R next to their name, and that turtle would have won. I really believe that in my heart.
I believe that too.
And that's why I might not be giving up on this race. There's more time for me, and I'm not going to say...
I'm working on them, guys.
I'm not going to say 100% that I'm going to run again or not run again. I'm thinking about it because I know what it takes next time to win. Yeah. I absolutely know. And I know I got a lot of good supporters out there that know me personally. They're going to back me personally, not because of the R, but personally.
Right.
I'm going to get a lot of votes anyway because of that R, I can assure you.
Well, I didn't know. Again, I was an uneducated voter before, guys. There's no way I could claim to be anything but that from before
Same
throwing
here.
my name into the ring.
Same here.
So
We've learned a lot,
things
though,
like
haven't
when
we?
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Gosh.
So that would take us years to teach
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
everything we've learned in the last few months.
Oh,
But
yeah.
and happy to do it. We still will be doing that.
Yeah.
But when Kathy Byron was being primaried in the spring, her competitor brought some things to, in his ads. And I did a little digging. And, I learned some things about time in office, how to check the voting record. I used to call it Ballotopia, but it's Ballotpedia.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why I got that. I guess I just was speed reading it the first time. But when I looked at some of our elected officials' voting records, just because they vote one way is not good enough for me. I'm not getting on the school board to vote yes to everything that comes to Richmond, and I sure as heck am not going to vote yes to anything that I feel is morally, constitutionally, civilly, human rights violations for our teachers, our children. I mean, we're all human beings. We don't even have to separate it. That's what really bothered me too, is other folks were separating things from teachers and students and staff. We are all human beings, and everything's supposed to be applied fairly and equally, right? When's the last time that happened in our lifetimes, right? We've got to get back to that. The bullying thing, I thought about it this morning when I was getting ready to come in. I definitely plan on rereading the bullying laws. They need to include, because I believe it says students in it a lot, they need to include teachers. Teachers are being bullied, and teachers are bullying students, and students are bullying teachers, administration. I mean, there's human beings everywhere.
That's
so
right.
There are good people and bad people everywhere. We can't just pretend that all of the administration is good and all of the teachers are good and all of the students are good. We have to acknowledge fair and equally that there's also, bad doers out there.
Yeah.
And they need to be identified and it needs to be corrected.
Yep. Most
So
definitely.
I appreciate you said before we came on that we're going to continue our podcasts. We're going to
Yes.
keep people posted on what we learn in politics, but from the school board level all the way to the federal government level, based on the relationships that we have fostered. I mean, I am in touch with a whole lot of people. It's just amazing on every level of government at this point, and I couldn't even be more honored and excited to have a direct line to certain people in office, their assistants, security, etc.
You know what I was going to also say, Ann? I don't mean to chime in like this, but when things hit me, I got to spill it out or I forget. I was just going to say that even though I'm not in that seat, doesn't mean I still can't let everybody know what's going on, because I can get the information from a lot of different resources. So I will make sure, and again, these podcasts, we'll keep them going. We want everyone to know what's going on in our community. I mean, if we're allowed to say it, well, I'm allowed because I'm just a regular citizen. I can say whatever I want. Now, you might be bound to certain things maybe, and you have to decide later if you can or can't say it, but that's fine. Yeah. We're going to let people know what's going on in our community because it's only fair. We've been in the dark for so long about what's going on. I still have people asking me about certain things from our delegate, and I was like, I don't know. You need to maybe call him because I don't know the answer to that. So if I find it out, I'll let people know, and we'll do these podcasts and keep them going. So
absolutely. And things too that I learned, there's a website called Town Hall. I believe it's townhall.va.gov. I could be totally wrong on that. Just do a DuckDuckGo. Get off of Google, people, if you haven't learned already. And I heard DuckDuckGo was bought out by some bad guys. So far, I'm still getting good results. So until that changes, DuckDuckGo, the town hall showed more concisely what's being discussed in Richmond and had public comment sections. So, we'll continue to share things like that because people don't know how to get the information. It took me almost 2 years to find the local committee so that I could join. And that's where I learned about open races. I could not find it online anywhere. And when you call folks, they're not sure either, and the websites are changing. So anyway, we will bring you information on how to get involved, where to go, what to do. We really need more people to show up. We do have a school board meeting on Monday, Rustburg High School, 6:30. Please attend.
Yes.
Every citizen in Campbell County, children or no children, your tax dollars are paying these people to represent your neighbors and all of our public schools, and they're spending your money. So you should want to know if it's being spent appropriately and if you agree with the decisions on how to spend your money. Seriously, people need to realize. But you know what? Even me, I don't have a full college education, and I allowed the rest of peer pressure world to make me feel inferior because of that. And we've all been led down this path that our elected officials are smarter than us. And I was there. Let me tell you, they're not. I'll tell you, straight up. They're regular people. When I met Ted Cruz, he was a regular person. Yes, he's definitely smarter than me. And met Bob Good, definitely smarter than me. But it's just like you and I. I have learned a whole Britannica encyclopedia worth of information since May 27th when I agreed to run for school board. Between then and now, I literally could write a full set of encyclopedias on what I've learned. So I know that once these folks are in office and they have staff and they have more experiences and they do more digging, I learned some things last night just preparing for this and starting to decide what I'm going to speak about on Monday. There's so much information out there. It's so much easier to find it. And the more people you meet, the more you learn. When I was teaching the real estate classes, I told people, hang out with the veteran agents, ride with them for showing appointments, go with them to open houses, learn from their experiences, because no one person can know all of anything. I don't care how much of an expert you are. You still don't know it all.
No. You learn every day.
Yeah,
every day you learn.
And you got to get out there and learn it. So I'm super excited. I do have a little bit of negativity that we agreed to share today regarding the elections. Very disturbing that one of the local candidates for the local races was found to be doing things that were what I consider unethical and unprofessional. I don't know if there are any bigger words out there that apply, but we felt compelled to share this. I don't know how we just hit a button.
Just hit the button. It's already queued up to play.
Let's see.
I would give them a little briefing on what this recording is.
Handing a Republican ballot with your name when you clearly know you're
Uh-oh.
Hit it again.
Sorry, guys.
not.
All right, let me go to a safe place here, you guys. You got to love everything you touch on your phone. But we won't take too long. All right, here we go.
People by handing a Republican ballot with your name when you clearly know you're not.
This position is an independent, nonpartisan position. I'm running as an independent.
So you don't think it's disingenuous, really? You think it's okay to deceive people with two separate ballots with your name on it representing Republican and Democrat?
I'm handing out sample ballots.
So you're not going to answer the question, David?
I thought I did.
No, you're not. Do you think it's disingenuous, yes or no, to put your name on a Republican sample ballot and a Democrat sample ballot, ask people if they're Republican or Democrat, and then give them the one accordingly? You don't think that's disingenuous, yes or no?
I'm handing out a sample ballot with my name on it as an independent
So you think it's totally cool to deceive people, and you want to be responsible for our children's education?
I do not think it's okay to deceive people.
But you're doing that.
I am not.
So I got a question for you. Who did it say it was paid for and endorsed by on your sample ballots?
Myself.
So if we get a copy of one of those sample ballots, it's going to say that?
After we
Did it have a seal on it?
After you correct them?
Yes.
Because that's illegal too. You know that, right?
Checked with the registrar before we made up the sample ballots, and the registrar said everything was okay, but it was an oversight. So we're addressing that oversight now, and until we get it addressed, we're not going to hand out any more samples.
Were you endorsed by the Republican Party?
No.
You were not endorsed by the Republican Party? Were you endorsed by the Democrat Party?
No.
Okay, so you were not endorsed, but you're handing out sample ballots as if you were endorsed by both of them.
No. I was handing out a sample ballot with my name on it as an independent candidate. So.
Okay, so for those of you, and I was new to this whole process myself, I'll just leave it up to the public to decide how they feel about that. If I am running just like Louis, if he
I would have loved to said I was running as a Republican.
I mean, right? An independent ballot.
Yeah.
He's an independent candidate.
That's right.
So if you are going to hand out a sample ballot, You had flyers made up, which was the appropriate way because you're only focused on your race.
Yeah.
So, and you had your little block filled in, beside Louis Scicli. I had my block filled in as Ann Parker, and all of the other Republican candidates filled in because I am endorsed by the Republican committee as well as the Youngkin campaign.
That's right.
For me to have handed out Democratic ballots with my name filled in on it is misleading. I don't care what anybody says. That would be misleading that I am going to vote as a Democrat when elected. And I'm just going to leave it there for everyone else to decide on their own. Is it illegal? I don't believe so. No, those folks were members of one of our local Republican committees that recorded that and had the conversation with the candidate. And I can also assure you that if the candidate's wife met with the registrar, she would have been told, not only is it in the rules, by the way, written in the rules, like in the first quick how to be a candidate rules, that you do not have the seal, you do not print on white paper.
That's right.
And you have to put on there who it's paid for by. Clearly, they didn't do those things. So I don't know if she asked specific questions of the registrar. They clearly did not follow the rules. I'm just blown away.
Wasn't there a red copy and a blue copy?
Yes, sir. So
Even
the
the
Republican copies were red and the Democrat copies were blue. Now, if he's truly an independent, and he said that he was on stage at the last school board meeting and also said, and I'll be sitting beside him for the next 4 years, guys.
Good luck on that.
So,
I'm sorry.
but
I
if
know
I
what you're
did
saying.
something wrong,
That's right.
I mean,
You're right. I'm with you.
and if he clearly doesn't agree that it's wrong, so we are already starting off with disagreeing on that, which is fine. I mean, he's welcome to feel that way, but that tells me a lot about our differences, the differences between us. I would never in a million
wouldn't have
years
done
have
that.
dreamed of doing anything like that. He should have handed out either a flyer like you did with just this cut and paste portion of his race, which on the ballot would have only had his name anyway. So there really was no need to even have a sample ballot, in my humble opinion, just to hand out his postcards or something voters could take in with his name on it. Or I would have just marked the one side. Because imagine if it wasn't Democrat or Republican, okay? Just imagine all he did was fill out the backside, which was just Board of Supervisors and School Board. There were no opposition. So it was John Hardy for Board of Supervisors and this candidate for School Board. All he had to do was fill in those blocks where he's not representing one party or the other and hand out that one side of the sample ballot.
Could you imagine?
That would have been the ethical,
Yeah.
professional, human, non-deceptive way of promoting himself. He was not promoting any other candidate on that ballot, but he gave the impression that he was for every candidate who was running in every office. That's what he did. It just is mind-boggling. So anyway, we felt compelled to share that because I've had a lot of people reach out to me, a lot, that are concerned that he is in the seat for 4 years and that people who were at the voting polling station on Election Day felt misled when they learned that he was not endorsed by either party.
Could you imagine if I put an R next to my name on that ballot, how many more votes I would have got?
Yeah, well, yeah, and you could have typed, and you truly could have typed an R on the sample ballot. They didn't say we couldn't add any
I would never
text,
do that. I
but,
would never do that.
So
but
anyway,
if I did, that's
it's just one of those things, it's almost
Unbelievable.
like, to me, honestly, it's almost like bringing your own deck to a card game. Okay, that's exactly the thought I had in my head when that video was shared with me on Election Day. I almost fell out of my seat. I'm frozen and wet. I almost fell out of my chair. Anyway, so that was a choice that was made. I think the most poor taste choice I've seen in a long time. So.
I tell you, and you know me, Ann, I'm very fair both ways. I even had him on the show a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm fair.
Yeah.
That wasn't cool. That was not
way
cool.
far from cool.
Yeah, that's unethical, I think.
Yeah. So we just,
I'm sorry.
I just felt compelled. I had so many people reach out to me, and I know you too.
Oh,
from
my
learning
gosh.
it on election day.
Oh, yeah.
The general public is enraged about this.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, we wanted to share and just say something quick about it. We won't toil on it or anything, but this is another reason to meet your candidates. I will never, ever in my life, ever again, fill in a box if I haven't met or researched my candidate. I was so impressed with the number of people who came down to early voting to get a sample ballot so then they could go home and research before they came back and voted or voted on election day. That is awesome. And guess what? The registrar will email it to you. You don't have to travel all the way to Rustburg to get it or wherever you live. Just email them and ask for a sample ballot. Also, you can check as early as the beginning of June of each election year for the list of people who are on the ballot that year for offices. So we'll keep sharing that information with you. Please come to the school board meeting on Monday night at Rustburg High School. If you'd like to speak, I don't know if this will be up and posted in time, but if it is
today
before noon,
I'm gonna get it up today. Maybe it's gonna be close.
Yeah. So it may be up too late to sign up, but by 12 o'clock, 332-3458, ask for Tracy Dobbins if you do hear this before noon today to sign up to speak on Monday. Otherwise, please come. Bring a carload of people. We need to keep the foot on the gas here so that they know the public is concerned. We want to know. I'm super excited about the Yunkin win, the Sears win, and the Miaras win. These folks are really going to help us between the law and order, repealing some of the laws that are on the books, getting rid of the mandates. I do have to say that my senior day at the football game tonight. So everybody come out. It's going to be cold. Awesome. Bring your blankets. So senior night at the football game. It's a home game at Brookville against Rustburg. Last regular season game, I believe. And super excited about that. And I can't remember why I brought that up. Something about seniors and football. There was another reason to come up.
Got to go to this.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know. Well, yes, I was going to say I didn't know there was a board of supervisors meeting last night. So I've got to get my calendar filled in because I'd like to start attending those as well. See what's going on.
And you know what? I'm going to be attending them also just to take notes.
Well, if you're not running again, you better stay plugged in.
Oh yeah.
And we really do need people to be plugged in. If you are a Republican, please consider coming to the Republican committee meetings. Yeah. It's just like, and people say, well, I don't like this one person who's in there. You don't like everyone at your church either. You don't like everyone at your place of employment either. But so
can I get into the Republican meetings now?
I don't think there was any reason you couldn't be in before.
Okay.
Everyone can come as a guest.
All right.
I mean, then applying for membership would be next.
Yeah.
Just like, any other public meeting.
Yeah.
Unless you're coming in, with fireworks and, stuff. Bring donuts. No, I'm just kidding. But, these things are open to the public. Yeah. There's a lot of grassroots community things happening all around Lynchburg. Please check these groups out on Facebook. Conservative Parents of Lynchburg. There's the Lynchburg Medical Freedom group on Facebook. Bedford County Freedom Fighters. In Bedford County, a lot of where we have all just come together. We've shared information. We've supported each other. It's been great. Bedford County did awesome. I don't know if it's 100% official yet, but their write-ins were winning if they have not been formally announced as winners. Because they were write-ins, I think they kind of had to, recount and lay eyes on the print and make sure that these people's name, it wasn't the computer just didn't kick out their name. It just kicked out write-in number, and then they had to confirm paper ballots. And I think that might have been completed yesterday, but I don't have. But what a great job! And that was a grassroots movement of not even a political party. The Republican Party did endorse both candidates as it got closer, but this was parents.
Oh yeah.
This was just a group of parents who said, "No more. We need more conservatives on the school board." They were losing votes 4-3. So they had 3 conservatives speaking up on their behalf, but it wasn't enough. And I believe that they have 2 more. I'm just super excited for them. A little scary thing is I've been told by absolutely everyone that I've met since I was sitting at the primary on June 8th getting signatures through Election Day and after, that I'll be the only conservative. I know I'm the only dissenting voice, but the only conservative on the school board. So I'm interested to learn a little bit more about that once I'm there. But I don't understand why there hasn't been a voice of dissent, especially when there's still a majority. Why, if you feel against something, why wouldn't you vote against it?
Yeah, that's true.
It just really blows my mind. So I'm really anxious to be that person. Again, I'm excited to have Youngkin's help. Super excited for the school board meeting, football game tonight. Anything else fun happening? I'm going to Red Hill on Saturday for the Bluegrass Festival down at Patrick Henry's Red Hill on Saturday. There's an event to share, 11 to 5.
I want to tell everybody also the Lynchburg Treasure Hunt group.
Oh, I saw something this morning. Did you start a new one?
No, it's the same one. I'm putting out different clues, different ways. I didn't know how often we were going to be doing these podcasts after the election. I think everybody wanted to take a little bit of break from the podcast, but the Lynchburg Treasure Hunt group, I did post a clue on there, and I'll probably post a few clues just on the Facebook group page instead of doing them in the videos in the podcast.
Okay.
And then we'll get back into it later.
Or we could do it in the podcast and then post that same.
Do the same,
if we announce 3, then post them on the page.
Yeah. So the main thing is with this one, I did post. A lot of people, I'm going to throw out a quick hint, and I want to talk about one more thing. But the hint that I made about the, at first I said it was on a business window. It is on a business window, the number that you're looking for, but it may be just a reflection in the window.
I saw you say something.
Yeah, so keep that in mind, because someone said, well, you said you put it on the window of a business. What's on the window of a business? But I didn't want to really, I'll go ahead and give you this. I didn't want to put it on the building window of the business, but you can see it through the window on a reflection.
A
reflection of it.
Reflection. There you go.
In the reflection.
And I saw also parking restriction.
Yeah, just think about that for a little bit.
And I didn't see any of the other clues, so I got to go back and check it out.
There was just basically yes or no questions, and that's going to kind of getting it hard to keep up with too, with so many people posting so many different questions.
Yeah.
So just from this point on, everyone, I know we change it up a lot, but it makes it fun this way. Just wait to see the clues on the Lynchburg Treasure Hunt group page when I post them. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Not necessarily have to listen to the videos or the podcast, but if you want to, you can. Pass this word on to everyone that you know. That's the way we're doing it right now. We're posting them on the Lynchburg Treasure Hunt group page. And one more thing I was going to say, and I know he'll probably kill us for mentioning his name, but he worked his butt off for this.
Oh, he sure will.
And I'm going to say it. We got to give props to Claude, because I got to tell you,
Claude Harris is, I call him the Campbell County campaign champion.
He is. I mean, he is.
And he says it wasn't just me; it was a group effort. Yeah, it absolutely was a group effort.
And Alan too. Your husband Alan did such a great job. Both of them.
Dawn Berrigan. She was awesome at lunchtime. On a school bus driver came out at lunchtime, as you guys know, during early voting, 45 days of early voting. We had a couple other volunteers come out.
Kathy helped me out too, and all of them. I mean, just all these guys did a great job. But I can tell you, Claude is a trooper, man.
Claude Harris from the last
and
Campbell
Penny.
County
Penny's a trooper too.
Penny was my celebrity endorsement. I love Miss Penny. But Claude, after the last Campbell County Republican Committee meeting, when he knew we needed help down there, was at the registrar's office every single solitary day, set up by 8 a.m. and ready to go by 8:30, way earlier than 8:30, and stayed until 5. Almost every day, even if we had reinforcements come in the afternoon. He was so motivated, and if he missed a voter, it crushed him. He worked so hard. He's like, it could have been that one vote for Phil or for Dean.
That's right.
And
it's amazing. So Claude, sorry for this, but you deserve.
Yeah, we love you, Claude Harris.
Yes, we do, man.
You deserve all kinds of things.
Awesome job, and Penny, his puppy.
Yes.
She was there every day with him, so. It was awesome.
Even election day.
Every day.
And he worked again all day election day.
I'm telling you, that guy is all of it.
We appreciate Campbell County owes him a huge debt, all the other volunteers.
Most definitely.
And please, everyone, we really need your help. It is worth, everyone's excited that we're red.
Yes.
Right? That the state is red.
But we got to keep it red.
If you want to keep us red,
you got to get out and work for it.
Yes.
We got to work for it.
And it needs to be worth a day off from work.
Yes.
It needs to be worth a day off.
I mean, I took many, many days off of my work.
Oh, my gosh.
It's
Lord.
insane.
If I wasn't self-employed, I'd be fired right now.
Oh, yeah.
With all the time that I spent on the campaign. Yes. But, it has to be worth it.
Yes.
My husband took off the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because he knew we'd have signs and people and events, things like that.
And I want to say that don't count me out yet, everyone, because
Yeah.
I'm
Hopefully we'll have a formal announcement one way or the other in the next
one
couple
where
days.
couple days. I
Yeah.
need a little time,
Because
but
remember, tell them about what happened real quick.
I had some-
He was already tried to be recruited to the Democratic Party, so the Democrats aren't waiting.
they're trying to get a Democrat in our area that's known in
Yes.
our area to
To
run.
primary Matt.
And he didn't come out and say it, but again, a lot of these people, when they talk to you, they're very wise on how they use their words.
Yep.
And I pretty much told the guy, I said, I'm a Republican. I'm sorry, it ain't gonna ever work for me to run as a Democrat. Because again, a lot of these people, they jump on these parties, and especially in our area, that Republican means a lot. It means a lot. I was told that at the beginning of my campaign. The guy looked at me, and you know the person, and I'll tell you afterwards. He says, Louis, that R means, because I said I'm running as an independent, and here's why, bum, 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 bum. Okay, he said, Louis, that R means everything in this area. It means, and I said, I agree, but I can't get the R right now, so what am I going to do? And I took a shot, and it didn't work out, and I kind of suspected that. I was just really, really concerned that we were going to lose to the Democrats, because I felt like if I took enough votes from the person running as Republican, and I got votes, he got the rest, and the Democrat got more, I didn't want to see that happen. And I mean, it was a chance that it could have happened, but you know what? Not really. We've seen how many votes the Republican Party got. And I say Republican Party because that's who got the votes, and I'll be honest with you. It was the Republican Party got the votes. I don't care what anybody says. And I'm not being mean about it or a poor loser or a sore loser. I lost straight up and down. He beat me bad, okay? He beat the other guy bad, and the other guy had a lot of money in his account.
What? As you say that, though,
Yeah.
it also puts forth another lesson that
Yes.
that we've all learned.
Yes.
Is he got so many votes just because he's been there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as I was mentioning early, learning about voting records, I was floored, and I'm not just talking local. I was floored locally.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
get me wrong. I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't. Nothing initiated by anyone. No, nothing. Not recently.
Yeah.
No fights. I know that there was a Democratic majority, but just like Bob Good says, I mean, he and Senator Cruz have put a bill. Well, they say Pelosi won't let it be heard, but they're announcing it absolutely everywhere, and hopefully it will hit. If it doesn't hit the floor, at least it's something that will be circulating and people will be familiar with, and it will grow. Just like you laid a platform, you laid a foundation for, your future running if you so choose.
Yeah.
They've already structured a bill that says no federal funding to any schools teaching any form of critical race theory, okay, or the transgender ideologies. So the groundwork's been laid.
That's right. Yeah.
When the majority is taken back, they will put it on the floor and it will pass.
Yeah.
That has not, I haven't, just my few months of research, I haven't seen anything be attempted, with the exception of Senator Steve Newman has been very vocal. I do not know if he actually has written anything. I wasn't actually looking at Steve's record at the time. I was focusing on, the people who are running this year, just for lack of time. But we need people who are willing to be proactive. Like my boss said, he appreciated that I brought that to his attention, that people vote for incumbents, right? And parties get behind incumbents because of the name recognition and the winnability.
Yeah.
Well, what is winnability if there's no actions?
That's right.
And no progress being made? And
I'm glad you brought that up.
It's just not good enough. It's not good enough anymore. It may have been good enough in the past. It is not good enough. People have spoken. For me to get 67 votes,
That's right.
what the school board has been doing is not good enough.
No.
Something needs to change. We need to figure out what it is, what's the most important thing that needs to be addressed, in priority order.
That's right.
Same thing with, again, why weren't more bills put on the floor by our local delegates in the last 10 years?
And that's what gets me. You got a person in the seat. Yes, he's a Republican. But if he's not doing anything for the Republican Party, but using you 100%, I don't mean to be like this, but he's using that Republican Party for his own benefits, but he's not helping the Republican Party.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be like that.
And
You're supposed to work for your party and do the right things. And that's not happening. We know that. And I
if
could
you're
go on for
accomplished-
days about that. But.
Yeah, and I asked some of these folks early on before I was a candidate for a list of their accomplishments. Some never got back to me at all. I also asked these people for statements on our local school board and to attend our local school board, of which I never got a statement or their attendance. Very disappointed. We need people who are willing to take action
Yes.
and not just meet with their constituents, but act on their constituents' behalf.
Work.
I know it's not a lot of money. Oh my goodness!
No,
To find
it's
out that
ridiculous.
a delegate only gets $17,000 a year. How can you go away from your home? I mean, especially if you live in Bristol. of
And
all
how do
places.
you stay in it for so long?
How?
How?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
honestly, I told Ann, I said, Ann,
the
I
time
couldn't
that you
afford to stay in
spend-
there more 1 or 2 terms because I'd be broke by the time.
I mean,
because I'm not going to take money from people. I'm not
No.
going to do anything that I'm not supposed to be doing and
Right.
bribes, whatever may happen. Not saying they are.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why people stay in these positions for so long.
Yeah.
And it's not because of the money you're getting, legally the money you're getting.
Yeah, and
How
it's
do you
not
stay in?
enough of a status thing either.
No,
you know, what I
no,
mean? Like,
it's-
I'm not
if
going
any-
to walk around and be like, oh, duh, 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 duh.
No, it's
But,
no
I
status
don't.
at all.
If that's got to change,
if
because
anything,
there
it's-
has to be at least fair pay.
Yeah, no, the pay is just ridiculous. But the thing is, somehow, some way, these people want to stay in there for 6 and 7 terms and fight to tooth and nail to stay in those positions, even though they're not doing anything for anybody.
Yeah,
they want to
it'd be different
stay.
if they were putting. I understand
Yes.
their call to duty for public
That's
service,
right.
but if you're only recognizing Louis for being a good guy,
Yeah,
or
great.
if you're only voting for a bill that someone from Southwest Virginia or Northern Virginia has put on, that is the easy. I'm just and I hate to even be.
No,
sounding
it's-
like I'm bashing, but
No,
there
no.
just isn't enough action. I realize the pay isn't there, but if you're not committed to take action while you're in session, then you shouldn't be there.
No, but there's other reason why they're still there.
mean,
And we
but
know
my
that. We're
boss-
not stupid people. We're smart, huh?
Yeah, I know. I don't even want to go into
No,
that
we're
part
not. We're
today.
not gonna-
That'll be a discussion for another
Yeah,
day
yeah, we're not
because
gonna-
I
we're not
learned a
gonna-
lot of really
know me.
unfortunate things
I
working
didn't-
at the registrar.
My campaign, even though I didn't get that many votes, but all those votes that I did get mattered. I can assure you they did matter, everybody.
Absolutely.
100%. I appreciate every vote. But
Yeah, me
again,
too.
I'd lost my train of thought, what I was going to say.
That's
Something,
okay.
I was getting wound up there.
Yeah. Yep.
But again, we
Well,
know
to
what's
take,
going on.
To take action and to be there, and what my boss appreciated me pointing out was the voting record, and that people were getting voted in just because it was easier because everyone knew them, and they just and I did it too. I don't know of anything bad they did, so I might as well just let them stay, right? If they
Oh,
want to
I know what I was
stay, I'll
going
let
to
them
say.
stay.
I was going to say, and you know as well as I did no bashing at all.
Oh, no.
And I had plenty of ammunition, but I
Yeah.
didn't do it because I'm not that
I
kind of
did
person.
too, actually.
I'm
I was
very-
handed a lot of
Yeah,
ammunition.
we
I
didn't do
use
that because we're not those kind of people. You know what?
No.
Everyone out there should actually be proud of the fact that we didn't do that. Because I did get a lot of messages from people
Yep.
that said, Louis, you're a good person. You didn't bash your opponent. I really appreciate it. I'm not in your district, but if I was, I would have voted for you. That means so much more to me than throwing mud at somebody because I could have thrown a lot of it, but I didn't. And again, I don't want to get myself wound up.
Yeah.
But
No,
again, we're
you
going to do
gotta
the.
run a
I'm always
clean
going to do the
race.
right thing and do it right. Yeah.
Running a clean race,
Clean,
absolutely,
very clean
and
race.
that's how we would
Yeah.
be. How
Absolutely.
I'll be in office too.
You
And that's
should
just
be.
who we are.
You should be. Don't let
Absolutely.
anyone take your character and demolish it because
So, yeah.
character's everything.
I'm glad you brought that up because since we did play the audio clip from Election Day, you'll probably be getting a little bit of backlash from that, as will I. These were factual things that happened,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And I'm entitled to my opinion.
That's right. Me as well.
And,
All opinions.
And I could have, I was as
You
politically
could have
correct
been real
as
bad.
possible.
You could have been real bad. Just
So-
like me. You could have been real bad.
Yeah, I mean, even if you watch WSCT News and the weather guys, they throw their own personal opinions and stories and things in
All
there
the time.
too, and
Yep.
everyone is entitled to that under the First Amendment, which we keep getting pulled out from under us on a daily basis.
Yep.
And it is being pulled out from under our teachers and our students at school, and I won't let that happen. I mean, that's just. You guys cannot even imagine the stories that I have to share when I get on the school board that has been inappropriate for me to say at the podium.
I got a lot of them as well that might come out later in our podcast.
Yeah,
I don't know where we are in our time.
People need help.
Yeah, we're way
over time. I kept looking for the time.
It's right there. See it on the next to the red.
Oh yeah, sorry guys.
It's a
we're
long
still
one.
Tired too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're running on empty here. I cannot. I don't know when I'll get a good night's sleep. I'm not sure when, if.
We'll keep, like I said, we're going to keep these podcasts up. Everyone.
Yes, and they'll be more fun next time too.
Yeah, no,
this
they're
one was a little bit
down.
This was a little heavy on elections and stuff like that. But please get involved.
Yes.
I've met the most incredible people. I'll close out my statement with saying at lunch with Louis, my husband, and Claude. I think it was Saturday, the last day of early voting. I think it was Saturday.
Yeah.
We went to lunch when we had some reinforcements come, and I said, truly, there are very few people that I feel I could call if I was hurt in an accident to pick up my kids from school.
Yep. All of us at that table.
Yeah. Yes. And I said, I truly have met those people.
Yes. I agree with the same way, feeling the same.
I'm just so honored to have met and others too. Some just wonderful, doer, caring, honest people. And so imagine that, right? Through the process of running for office, I've met some genuine people full of integrity and service to others and care about others above themselves. And it's just been a pleasure.
And same here. So feelings mutual. And like I said, we're going to be friends forever. So,
for sure.
And we might be in certain positions to help other people later, myself as well. You're in a position. Now's your time to shine. So, you got anything else? I know this is a little long.
Yeah, sorry guys. And we'll come back to you. Maybe we'll find a day and we'll start doing something daily. We really appreciate everybody out there. Hope to see everybody Monday night. Have a great weekend.
Yes, thank you all very much. And we'll see you next week. Thanks.